Hi, everybody. So today we're going to be going over kind of like another aspect of Natasha's testimony. Without further ado, this is the story of Natasha and something that God healed her from.
When I was about, I think, 8 or 9, I ended up fainting. It was just considered as like, oh, it's fine. It was just like faint out of weakness kind of situation. But then it started getting into just more than fainting to kind of having like a little bit of fits and, like eyes rolling back and really stiff body and things like that. And then it started getting worse. And then I was diagnosed with seizures, so epilepsy. When they had diagnosed me with the epilepsy, they did give me medication for a couple of years. And then they had told mom that, I will grow out of it and things like that if I do take the medication right and stuff. So I did end up taking the medication, but it helped for a little while, but then it kind of came back, and it came back really big. I would get 1 or 2 seizures a month, and it was pretty scary, to be honest. And I got to a point where I could sense when I would get an attack, I could feel that thing coming on where it's like, like everything, the colors will start changing. I would just start feeling out of breath. I would get like a weird metal kind of taste in my mouth, and
it's crazy.
Just like out of sorts. So I could always tell when, and like I would feel cold, but I would start to sweat, and it was just weird. I would always just immediately sit down and kind of just try to breathe through it, but I would inevitably always end up having that seizure. And the scary thing was getting out of it, because when you're passed out you don't really know what's going on, but like coming out of that seizure is when it really feels like you're just trying to hold on to life, because it's just like you're trying to catch your breath and you feel breathless and everything is just very, very out of sorts. It's pretty scary, to be honest. I remember this one time I had a bad seizure was when mom was in the kitchen, and we had this area in our house where we had a sink, and there was a window right behind me, and there was a mirror in front. So I was washing my hands, and I looked into the mirror, and the sunlight hit the mirror and kind of reflected, and it caught my eye. And as soon as it hit my eye, I knew that I could feel it coming on. And I just called mom's name, and then that's all I remember. Oh. And the next thing I remember is her, like, she was on top of me and she was crying and screaming, and she was just like, because apparently that was the longest seizure that I had.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this?
Maybe like 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
This kept happening on a regular basis, and it's pretty scary when you have epilepsy. You can't do much, like even just driving, even just like walking on your own is like, you never really know what's gonna happen, right? It's pretty scary. So I remember at this one prayer conference that our church had organized, and what ended up happening is we finished the second night and we ended up coming home, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a seizure hit me, and I couldn't control it, and I woke up to mom again, like really panicking around me, and just praying and calling out to God, and just and it was just all out of sorts, and it just weakens you a lot as well, just right after the seizure, so it takes you some time to kind of recover. I remember the next day when we went for the conference, it was the last day, we finished the conference and we went up ahead for prayer. One of the pastors was there praying for people and things like that, and he kind of like looked at our direction, and he was praying for someone else. He looked at our direction, and then he just like pointed out to us, and he said, "Don't leave, please stay, just give me a few minutes, I'll be right with you." So we waited, and then he came to us, and he spoke very kindly, and he asked us, "What can I pray for?" And then mom kind of brought it up, and she was like, she had a seizure last night, and she's been struggling with seizures for most of her life and things like that. So he literally he prayed with us, and then he told us that this has been an attack from the enemy even before I was born. So this was started when I was in my mother's stomach. He said the root cause of this was a lot of black magic that was done to my mother. It started ever since I was in her stomach when I was conceived, right? What he ended up doing was he just asked me, do you want to be healed? And I said, yes, of course I do want to be healed, right?
Of course.
So it's like, you got to make that choice though. You want to believe that you're going to be healed today, or you're going to doubt it, right? So I just put my faith in God, and I said, yes, I do believe that I'm going to receive my healing today. And so he had blessed a bottle of water, and he had prayed over it, and he had told mom to drink the water, you know. So it's kind of like cleansing from the root, right? From when I was in her stomach. So we're going to take it to the root. So, and when he prayed over me, I felt the presence of God come over me very strongly. And when that happens, you kind of, it felt very light. You know, you feel like you're on fluffy clouds, to be honest. It's like, felt like in slow motion.
It's true.
And I just like fell back in like slow motion. I felt like I fell on like this fluffy clouds, you know. And I was out for a little while, and so was my mom. And when I got out of that, I remember as soon as I awoke from that, I started shaking. I was shivering, and I was shivering to a point where my body was literally vibrating, you know, and my teeth were chattering, and just like I just didn't realize what was happening. And then he came, and my mom was a little bit nervous as well, so she was like, you know, what's going on? And pastor just told her, he said that this spirit has been on her for so long, and he doesn't want to leave, so just stay and pray, right? And my mom said that I became gray, like you could see my color change, and I completely went gray, and I was shaking. And that was literally the power of God healing me from the inside, and this stronghold being lifted out of me, you know. I literally sat there for half an hour, shaking for half an hour, and mom was just right there next to me. She was praying, the pastor was there, he was praying, and you know, I just sat there and I was like, you know what, today is my day for healing, you know, and I'm not gonna walk out of this place without getting my healing. So I just sat there and I waited on God, right? And I believed that I'm going to be healed from this. After a point, which was about 30 to 40 minutes, when the shivering kind of like stopped, I immediately felt a sense of warmth in my body, and I felt light. Like there was a heaviness that I didn't realize was on me for so long. Until that heaviness was lifted, I knew from that moment on I was healed. The amazing thing about that is, ever since that day, which was 5 years ago, I have not had one seizure.
Yeah, praise God.
Yeah, not one seizure, and I never will.
Yeah.
Because I am healed from it completely. It's just amazing to me, because it used to happen every month, twice or thrice a month, you know. It's just gone. I'm completely healed by the grace of God. And don't get me wrong, the enemy keeps trying to put that yoke back on me.
Of course.
And so he tries to, you know, make me feel certain sensations here and there. But as soon as I feel those sensations, I immediately say, no, I am healed, and I will not take this yoke upon myself again. Because Jesus has healed me, and I will not give this power back to you, right? I will not give the enemy the power to make me have seizures again. And as soon as I say that, it's gone, right? It's immediately. God is just so merciful and so faithful, you know. All you gotta do is ask. He's just there, willing and ready to heal you and to give you everything that you want, you know. He's given us free will. He just wants us to choose him. He's just right there, ready to help, you know, ready to give you everything that you want and everything that you need, you know. He's already prepared it. And that day when I just believed and just said, you know, God, today I'm going to accept this healing, and I'm going to receive the healing that I know is already mine. It happened, you know, which is amazing.
And you know what, guys, if you have anything that you have experienced in that same way, where you've had something and then you went to church or wherever it was, tell us about it, you know, because we like to praise God through everything and the miracles that he has done, you know what I mean? And he's done so much in our lives. So
much.
It's nice to spread the good news.
Yeah. And healing is possible.
It is.
From anything.
It is. So anyway, guys, we hope you guys have a great day. We love you, and we'll check you later.
Yeah. Bye.
I'm getting out of here.